Ferrari is stunned and Lewis Hamilton could lose his Abu Dhabi result. The FIA just confirmed post-race evidence showing Hamilton's SF25 may have broken technical regulations. If this is confirmed, Hamilton will be disqualified and Ferrari could lose critical constructors' points. And the twist: Ferrari engineers had already warned the car was unstable before the race even started. Subscribe now because this revelation could completely rewrite Hamilton's first season at Ferrari. The 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was supposed to mark a routine end to Lewis Hamilton's first season at Ferrari. McLaren and Red Bull had dominated the championship all year, leaving Ferrari to salvage pride rather than chase victories. Charles Leclerc finished fourth, extracting the maximum performance from a car that struggled in balance and stability. Hamilton, however, faced a different challenge, finishing eighth after starting 16th, marking his third consecutive Q1 elimination, a historical low in his career for qualifying performance. Hamilton's race was a battle against the car as much as against his competitors. Onboard footage analyzed post-race shows him constantly correcting the SF25 through Sector 3's high-speed corners near the hotel complex. The rear end of the car was unpredictable, forcing constant steering adjustments. Unlike Leclerc, who thrives on a looser rear setup, Hamilton relies on precise trail braking and mid-corner rotation, and the SF25's narrow performance window exacerbated the instability, slowing his pace and increasing mental fatigue throughout the race. Radio communications reveal a subdued atmosphere rather than frustration. Race engineer Riccardo Adami acknowledged Hamilton's effort. P8 Lewis: "Tough weekend, but good recovery. Thank you for the effort this year." Hamilton's response: "Thank you guys. I know it's been hard. I'll always fight for you guys no matter what. Let's work for 2026. Get home safe," illustrates the strain of driving a car that undermined his confidence while maintaining professionalism and focus for the team. Post-race FIA analysis has now confirmed that Hamilton's SF25 showed structural and compliance anomalies. Key components, particularly in the right rear suspension, did not behave within homologated specifications under lateral loads. While these deviations were subtle, they constitute a potential regulatory breach under Article 11 of the technical regulations. Even without visible damage or failure, the FIA considers this significant, demonstrating the zero-tolerance approach for mechanical compliance in modern Formula One. Leclerc's fourth-place finish highlights the contrast within Ferrari. With slightly different aerodynamic and suspension setup, he maintained better tire temperatures and car balance, mitigating the SF25's narrow operational window. Hamilton, in contrast, experienced pronounced instability as track temperatures dropped, particularly in nighttime conditions. This disparity underscores the car's sensitivity and the challenges faced by Hamilton, magnifying the impact of minor anomalies in component behavior. Off-track, Leclerc delivered a stark message to the team: it's now or never. 2026 is a huge opportunity, but if we start badly, it will be another 4 or 5 years of suffering. I cannot wait any longer. I need a winning car next year, not promises. Combined with the FIA's confirmed anomalies in Hamilton's car, this statement highlights internal pressures, driver morale issues, and the strategic urgency Ferrari faces heading into the next season. Finally, Ferrari's Abu Dhabi strategy compounded the problem. The SF25 was largely unchanged from its Qatar configuration, with no new components introduced, as development resources were shifted toward the 2026 car. Operating within this narrow performance envelope, Hamilton's car became extremely sensitive to setup variations and environmental conditions. The FIA's confirmation of suspension anomalies turns an already difficult race into a potential regulatory crisis, leaving Ferrari grappling with driver confidence, team cohesion, and impending penalties as the season closes. The FIA began its investigation immediately after the Abu Dhabi race by reviewing telemetry data from Hamilton's SF25. Engineers noted abnormal readings from the right rear suspension under lateral loads, particularly in Sector 3's high-speed corners. Wheel load, yaw rate, and suspension deflection consistently deviated from the declared parameters. Even subtle fluctuations are critical in Formula One, where regulations require absolute compliance. This triggered the FIA to proceed with detailed mechanical inspections to confirm whether a breach had occurred. Mechanical testing of the right rear suspension component was conducted using hydraulic actuators and calibrated load rigs to simulate race conditions. The tests confirmed that the component flexed beyond its homologated tolerance by over 3 millimeters under lateral stress. Although the component did not fail, this deviation exceeded the limits permitted under Article 11 of the Technical Regulations, which governs the allowable deformation of structural components. This data formed the basis for the FIA's potential sanction. Comparisons with Leclerc's SF25 highlighted that the issue was isolated. While both cars were built to nearly identical specifications, Leclerc's suspension remained fully compliant under the same loads and conditions. This eliminated a systemic design flaw as a potential cause and suggested that Hamilton's car either experienced an assembly anomaly, part variation, or setup-specific stress. Regardless of the origin, the FIA treats all deviations as the team's responsibility. High-speed video footage provided additional verification. Cameras placed at the critical sector captured the right rear suspension compressing more than expected over multiple laps. Frame-by-frame analysis correlated these observations with telemetry readings, confirming that the component behaved outside its declared limits during actual track conditions. This combination of mechanical testing, sensor data, and video evidence strengthened the FIA's case significantly. To ensure reproducibility, the FIA examined several key laps, including laps 31, 34, and 36. Each lap showed identical flex patterns in the right rear suspension. This ruled out accidental damage or one-off anomalies and demonstrated that the behavior was intrinsic to the component under operational loads. The consistency of the data indicates a structural compliance breach rather than a random failure. The FIA emphasized that performance impact is irrelevant in such cases. Hamilton finished 8th, far from a podium, yet the mechanical deviation itself is sufficient for a penalty. Formula One regulations prioritize mechanical conformity over race results. Any component operating outside homologated specifications compromises the legality of the car and, by extension, the race result. This principle ensures that all teams maintain exacting standards in both design and assembly. Finally, Ferrari now faces serious regulatory implications. The data indicates a clear technical infraction with Hamilton's SF25. His result in Abu Dhabi is at risk of being nullified, and Ferrari could lose crucial constructors' points. The case also underscores the zero-tolerance approach in modern Formula One, where even millimeter-scale deviations are treated as serious breaches. Ferrari must either defend the anomaly convincingly or accept a sanction that could impact driver morale, team reputation, and preparations for the 2026 season. In modern Formula One, suspension components are not just structural elements, they are critical to the car's aerodynamic and mechanical balance. The SF25's rear suspension, in particular, controls rear ride height, pitch, and floor interaction with the track surface. Even minimal deviations from homologated behavior can alter airflow under the car, modify downforce distribution, and affect tire contact with the tarmac. This is why the FIA enforces strict compliance checks. A few millimeters of unapproved flex can turn a compliant car into an illegal one. Article 11 of the Technical Regulations explicitly prohibits dynamic deformation beyond approved limits. It does not account for intent, race result, or driver feedback. In Hamilton's case, the right rear suspension repeatedly flexed beyond the homologated window, which constitutes a breach regardless of whether it provided a performance advantage. The FIA's telemetry, mechanical testing, and video analysis all confirm that the component consistently exceeded its allowed compliance. Hamilton's driving style amplified the issue. Known for precise trail braking and aggressive mid-corner rotation, he relies on predictable rear-end behavior to execute his techniques. The flex in the SF25 caused erratic responses under lateral load, forcing him to make continuous steering corrections. While these adjustments allowed him to maintain control, they also revealed the structural deviation in real time. The FIA considers any consistent component behavior outside the homologation limits a violation, regardless of driver input. Even small suspension deviations have a cascading effect on car performance. Millimeters of extra movement alter rear tire load, affect pitch, and change floor aerodynamics. The repeated right rear flex observed in Hamilton's car could have subtly modified rotation and cornering stability. While Hamilton managed to maintain control, the vehicle still fell outside the approved specification. In Formula One, zero-tolerance enforcement ensures that even minor anomalies are treated as serious breaches. Ferrari's internal setup and assembly processes are under scrutiny. Both SF25s were constructed to nearly identical specifications, yet only Hamilton's car displayed the anomaly. This points to assembly variance, material differences, or setup-specific factors influenced by Hamilton's driving preferences. The FIA holds the team responsible. Drivers cannot be expected to compensate for mechanical noncompliance, and teams must guarantee legality under all conditions. This case underscores the zero-tolerance environment of modern Formula One. The FIA monitors structural behavior with extreme precision, enforcing compliance to the millimeter. Any component operating outside its homologated window, even unintentionally, triggers an investigation and potential penalties. Hamilton's suspension anomaly exemplifies the razor-thin margins teams must navigate in terms of design, assembly, and race preparation. Finally, the implications extend beyond Abu Dhabi. The SF25 anomaly serves as a warning for Ferrari and the rest of the grid heading into 2026. Teams will need to validate every component with extreme rigor, ensuring assembly, part selection, and setup all remain within tolerance. Hamilton's potential sanction demonstrates that in Formula One, precision and compliance are as critical as speed. Millimeters matter, and any deviation can have major consequences for drivers, teams, and championship outcomes.